this thing though, because I really never played with the
Hi,
harmonica.
everybody. This is Joy Lingerie. We are now live, and I am with Rodney Dean Harrison, and he will be our guest today. Before we get started, I want to give a shout out to my sponsor, Luscious Moss Studio, owned and operated by Chad Christ out of Edgewood, Washington. And Chad is primarily set up of drummers and guitarists recording, and he does do other things. He recorded my music, um, and he is located in Edwards, Washington. You can find him by going to Facebook and typing in Luscious Moss Studio. He does have a very creative and collaborative environment for his guests. So, with that, Rodney, tell us about you.
Oh, hello everybody. I don't know what to say about me. I don't know. I was very young when I was born. I remember that,
Yeah,
and uh, I don't know.
let's hope your poor mother.
Yeah, and well, actually, I think it all started when I was really, really young. But uh, no, I just always liked music. I love creating. I like to make people happy, and I believe be an artist, whether you're a painter, poet, writer, musician, that we're
Yes,
healers in a way because we
yes,
help people forget their trials and tribulations, or we have that ability to take them on a journey.
yes.
And I feel blessed that I've been in the music industry for as long as I have, and
And how long is that,
hopefully
Rodney? For how long
oh,
do you
uh,
remember?
yeah, you figure. Well, I remember my first instance was when I was about 5 years old. I remember our family visiting one of our family friends, and they had a piano,
Ah,
and I went up on the piano and I was playing it. Everybody else, because I was the youngest. Yeah, and everybody, all the older kids were out doing their thing, and so I started playing the piano, and I was just and I was picturing Elton John. I remember because I loved the whole crocodile rock thing,
yeah, that was
I
cool.
remember seeing him on the video, so I kind of knew how to hold my fingers a little bit. And I was just playing, trying to make noise, and I was making little songs. And who knows, I was probably cute as hell. But I look behind me, and there's the whole family standing behind me, and they wanted to know, did I just learn this in kindergarten? Because I'm only 5. I mean, I was
Yeah,
either kindergarten or first grade, and they were going, "Did you get lessons in school?" And no, but they should have gave me lessons right then.
yes,
That was my first knowing that I really loved feeling it, that feeling of
yes,
creating. And
yes.
I mean, I love to color and draw and all that when we're small, but that was my first experience. And then when I got into school, I mean, a little later in school, and they started offering music classes. There was a guitar class, and I really wanted to join it, but my parents, they didn't have enough money for a guitar, so I was like, okay. So I missed out on that one. But then the next one came up, and we had some money, saved money, worked all summer and everything. And then there was another music being offered, and I wanted to get a drum set. I want to be a drummer. It's
Oh,
awesome.
I'm glad you didn't.
Drummers are cool. And unfortunately, my parents, they, in their infinite wisdom, they went, no, we don't want to hear you banging on the drums all day long. So what they got me was a trumpet,
Oh
so
my
their only
gosh.
lesson. The only lessons, and then, yeah, I'm thinking, drums, trumpet. I was in the bathroom because the bathroom was the greatest acoustics. So you practice in the shower, not naked or anything. You just stand in there with your clothes on, not the water, and play. But the bathroom had great acoustics. So when you play the trumpet, it was kind of got your little reverb and cool sound going. But yeah, trumpet, which I did that for several years. And I finally got enough money to buy myself a electric guitar and a Heathkit amp. I got
Wow.
uh, I got little Gibson 335 copy and then a Heath combo amp, and off the way I went. And a drummer, and I remember I was just learning chords. I didn't get lessons. I was just watched other people play, and I seen that fifth chord. And when I found that fifth chord, I go, oh, cool. And I just played the heck out of that fifth chord. And uh, me and this our drummer, one of my drummer friends from band class, for playing trumpet and stuff. And actually, I go on the timpanis and everything, and we'd go off, but we'd just show up at parties and start knocking on doors, even rival schools. We'd knock on doors, him and I, and go, where's the band setting up? And they go, we don't have any band. And you do now. And then
Oh, cool.
we set up the drums and electric guitar, and we just started playing and became popular. Didn't really have a band name, and God, I bet we sounded awful, but yeah. But it was fun, and it was cool. And then God, go first band. When did I start? I don't know. It's tough to tell. Any more questions, or you want me to just keep going on with the whole
Yeah,
time?
I'd like to know where you went from there. So you were last
Well,
thing I heard is you were on the trumpet in the shower.
so I was doing the trumpet, and but then I got myself an electric guitar, and I remember my band teacher was nice enough. His name is Mr. Tadina, and he was nice enough to see that I had a talent of improving. Even though I could read notes, but he would throw me on other instruments like the timpanis. I just went right onto the timpanis. I didn't know how to read. I went from reading notes to what's these little X and O's things. I don't know. But he gave me William Tell, and I used to watch Long Ranger, so I kind of was familiar with the William Tell overture.
Yeah.
So and banged the heck out of that. But no, he let me borrow after school, and I was kind of a strong spirited kid, and maybe a little bit of a troubled kid. But he let me have the practice room after school. So, and he just trusted me to be there alone. And there was this big Music Man amp, and I'd plug into that and just, play like I was somebody. And it was good. And, then the next thing you know, I was doing a few little pep rallies, with my guitar, just improv and the stuff. And then, got out of high school and kind of knew that music was what I wanted to do, And then
Yeah.
I started doing production to try to keep money, because when you first start out, you're not
Yeah.
making good money playing music. And
So
so
what did you do in production? Now I did see that in your biography, but I didn't quite catch all of it.
Well, I got lucky and hooked up with this e-ticket productions company when I was really young, and you know, uh, and I loved doing, working with bands, but I didn't know anything. I mean, I knew instruments, but the one thing I knew from my dad's training was to surround myself with people who did know what was going on,
Yes.
and then give them the tools and take care of them as best as possible. And so I got successful being a promoter rep down south doing production and then doing recordings. And I remember I started going to this one, what was it? It was called South End Studios. I think they were out of Santa Ana, California.
Uh-huh. Is that where
And I
you're
was,
living? Is that where you're
at that time, yeah, I was living in Laguna Hills. I kind of
living?
grew up partly in Laguna Hills and then partly in a town called Staten, Oregon,
Okay.
so I have a little country, a little rock and roll,
Yeah.
but I slop the pigs, milk the chickens, and
You're a
uh,
farm boy?
yeah, I was there too, as well as being, Southern California. So we were beach
Yeah.
kids when we were down there. And even though we lived in Laguna Hills, a lot of my youth, I remember in Huntington Beach, because Huntington Beach, was really popular. So, and we'd go grunion hunting, have your little pail, you know, you're about 7 years old, 6 or 7, and all these grunion are coming up, and you're collecting them. And,
Cool.
yeah, it's kind of cool.
You
And plus,
get
you can just stay up late because it's usually late at night. And so,
a right.
yeah, I get, hey, it's dark, and I get to hang out with grown-ups, and at that time, I think most of those guys were getting drunk, and who knows, but parents. But
We have a few commenters. If you look at your
oh, we do.
yeah, it says I love you guys, but they didn't identify themselves. And then Electric Dave says hi from Electric Dave.
Oh, Electric Dave. Woo. Hey, Dave.
And somebody wrote, "You're both rocking the free world." I don't know about me, but I know you do. I got a question. Do you really jump that high?
I still can jump.
I
I love jumping when I'm playing.
missed
I
that
still,
part.
I
Yeah,
can still jump. I don't know if the landings are
yeah,
still not as maybe not as graceful as I did
Right.
when I was younger. But yeah, I love jumping around and trying to give it my all.
I got it.
I wish I had more energy like I did back then. I could run
Oh,
all
yeah.
over the stage,
Couldn't you wish? Don't you wish you could bottle that stuff?
and I wish I could. But
We do have Shirley Drigger saying hi to us. And
hello, Shirley.
somebody
Hey.
says, love it, joy. Not quite sure if that's Shirley or not. But
Oh,
I do want to tell our listeners here how I met Rodney. I had gone to a birthday party way up in the well, I thought it was up in the mountains on a dirt road in the
oh,
middle of a
that's a lady.
forest
Yeah.
to a birthday party for so I always get this. Sandra Rita Dawn uh Lopez, I believe,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I get
Sandra
it right.
Lopez. Yes.
And he came up, he was up on stage or some, I don't know if he came up or how it just started, but he ended up playing with me.
Yeah, you asked me to play, and I was like, I was just going up to put my guitar back in the case because
Oh,
we just got
it
done
sounded
doing a set.
great.
And you go, hey, you want to play? And I was just okay, yeah, because I love playing. I mean, it doesn't matter. But I was going, but I don't do covers because I do just do originals. But we made it all work. Everybody goes, I didn't even know you played country. But you have to kind of go your mind. With the leads with country, it's a little different than the pentatonic scale.
Yeah,
You got
it
to
is. And
switch over just up a little bit. And yeah.
yes, I jam with rockers, and I've had them come right out and tell me, I don't know what to do with this stuff. They don't, but
I
there's a
like
story.
country though, so I'm
Yeah,
a big
there's a
country fan.
story. You
So,
got a story about country. You want to
well, I
tell
got several stories about
us?
country,
Okay.
but no, I love country music. I mean, because I did grow up on the farm, and I know too when I work with kids because I work with youth and try to, because a lot of people say they have trouble writing, and that's one of my best gifts. I never claimed to be a great singer or great guitar player. Or anything like that. I'm just got a knack of, making songs up and I tell people I usually try to take them out to the woods. I know this sounds weird, but going out to the woods and just kind of taking your instrument out there and playing, and listen to the rhythm of the world. Uh, I know no, I don't take acid. I'm not on drugs or anything, but the truth. I mean, our heart beats at a rhythm. We
Yes,
we breathe at a rhythm.
yes,
The moon goes around the earth at a rhythm. But when you go
yes,
out, it's almost like church. You go out and you start hearing the sounds and stuff. And when you play, it's weird. If you take your guitar out and play, animals will come up. Be a stringed instrument or just your instrument. But if you play a radio, they won't show up. But if you play natural music from a natural instrument, you get visitors. They're kind of giving you the wing. Like hey, turn that thing down, or I don't know what. But it's kind of
yeah,
cool. I remember one time when one of my bosses, we were helping out the gorge, and
yeah. What a place. Yeah.
yeah, I was I welded I worked for Seattle Stage and Lighting back then,
Oh, yeah.
and I helped weld the uprights for all the stages. I put the
Yeah.
weld in there, and of course I was good to see how the install came out. And me and the owner drove up there, and of course it wasn't really set up right. And luckily, I never traveled without my 12 string back then. I always had my 12 string, and I
You
was
always
kind of
had
just
your, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that. Always had your what?
12 string,
12 string. Yes, yes, you had
12
it that
string
day.
guitar. So I
Yeah.
never leave home without it. It was like American Express, just in case you get inspired. So yeah, my boss was going, and the guys were messing it up. The barricade, they did some things that was not quite right, and my boss is going, and at that time they called me Nasty. I was known as Nasty. No one knew my real
Nasty.
name. Yeah, that was my real name. I was a manager at the Paramount. My checks used to come out just Nasty when I
Oh my
worked at the Paramount.
gosh.
But yeah, he's going, dude, it's okay. He goes, relax. And this is coming from a guy, his nickname is Mad Dog, and he's going, it'll be okay. It's going to take him a couple hours to work it out. And he'd go, but don't get upset. And of course, I'm going, I'm cool. And so I go, but a couple hours, I'm heading down to the river. So I grabbed my 12 string and made that trek down the hill down to the Columbia River and sat up on a rock and played my
Oh,
12 string.
yes.
And this little beaver started doing this figure eight, came along right in the river, and that was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
It's great. I mean, have you ever taken your instrument out to the woods and just
Yeah.
played by yourself?
Well, yes, I have. But I also work for a production company. I work for Rhino. My
Oh,
husband
right. Oh,
and
yeah.
I did setting up stages. And one of the places that I can remember being so dog tired afterwards was the Gorge. And what a place that is. I mean, they must have had a stack. I've never seen that
Oh, that's a
many
nice place. Huh?
speakers in my life. But yeah,
What show did you work?
well, we worked a lot. We did a lot of stuff at Tacoma Dome and Everett and you name it, wherever there was a venue, they needed people, they needed roadies or whatever. I was mostly a driver and a wardrobe, but I did work. I rolled cords and helped tear down stages. So I
Nice.
did it. Which
Yeah.
reminds me, you have not told me this story about your brush with the star. I love the story.
Oh, here's
First
one.
time-
Oh, what's what? A Dolly Parton or the Garth Brooks
Yes,
one?
yes.
Well, then you have Faith Hill too. That I remember Faith Hill when she was playing the Mercer Arena. I
Oh,
didn't even know. I thought she was just part of. I didn't know who Faith Hill was. And she was playing and she was hanging out backstage, and I just thought she was a guest, and we were
oh
talking,
no.
and she was so down to earth, and I was
Yes.
going, "Yeah,
And
this is cool." And then come to find out she's a star, and I was going, "Ah, man." And then with Garth, we back when he was first starting out, he had like 2 sold out shows at the Key Arena. And then they added 2 more shows on top of that, which sold out like in 30 minutes, the 2 shows, bam. Well, it was like a 6 o'clock in the morning, and and it's a load in, and we're hooking up the lights, and who in the heck is on the ground right beside me hooking up the other end of the truss? But Garth Brooks. So
oh my
Garth
God.
Brooks was down on the floor, and we're like, "Hey, aren't you the artist?" And he's going, "Well, I wasn't always a country star." He goes, and then he proceeded to tell us how he used to do lighting and stuff, which we were going, "Wow!" But I thought it was really impressive. Well, plus I said there has to be a manager or insurance guy just freaking out right
Yeah.
now that you're on the floor, but
All
uh, you know, uh, but he was so down to earth, and that helped me. And too with Carlos Santana. Actually, Carlos Santana was the first big star I ever really met, and he just came. I was just standing upstage, and he came over, and we started talking philosophy. And believe it or not, if you guys, any of you out there in philosophy and like talking deep, I love that stuff. But Carlos came over, and we just started talking philosophy and life, and nothing about music, but it allowed me to right then, even though I was kind of a little bit awestruck when he came up, but he gave me such a warm feeling that starstruck stuff was just
Yeah.
gone, and he just made me feel warm and made me realize right then that we're not gods or anything special. We're nothing more than public servants. We are here to
Okay.
serve the public,
Exactly.
as healers, because I firmly believe that artists, whether you're painter, poet, writer, musician, that we help people heal, and we take them on journeys and put that positive energy or negative energy or whatever
Right.
energy you got. And
Yeah.
but
I
I
was a
choose to be a little bit more positive because I just
yeah.
I like to try to enjoy life.
I noticed in keeping with what you're saying that and I was Celine Dion and Trisha Yearwood and Faith and Tim McGraw and I could go on all the stars that I've been exposed to through them and
Yeah.
they're just very down to earth and the starstruck part of it doesn't work because they're just one of us
I
and
know when I first met Ronnie James Dio, though, at first when I met him, because of all the, I was kind of, not saying I'm a fully religious, but I'm part native and I'm very spiritual, and all that devil stuff was kind of, whoa, is he a demon or something? But I met him and he was such a nice guy. But at first when actually the one guy that I got kind of starstruck with, and he wasn't a musician, was Keither Sutherland. And when he was up, Kiefer was up but he was cool. We talked for a while, but he was up filming something up here in Seattle. And I think he either came to uh, was it who did he come to? I'm trying to think. It was not Melissa. I think it was either Reba McEntire or something. He came to see the show, and
Oh,
we're standing backstage from each other. And I looked beside me. I didn't even realize that he was standing. It was just me and him standing in the wings by the ramp. And I looked beside me, and I mean, he said something. I looked, and he was just, it was Keith or Sutherland. And I just, for a brief moment, I was like, wow, because I was a big Donald Sutherland fan, and then plus the Lost Boys, that was
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
We were all Hollywood vampires back when we lived in Hollywood. Vampires were the cool thing, and
Yeah.
Rice, all that stuff. But because you lived those kind of hours, but he was really nice. But I think the story you want me to tell you about is back
Yes.
with Dolly Parton.
Before we
Yeah.
get started, Rodney, I do have a few comments. If you look up there, long live rock and roll. I agree. No, wait a minute. There we go. And the other one is Electric Dave says, I believe you both are playing that at the Chronopalooza, and I'm bringing out my best gear for you guys. Thanks. Thank you.
Yes, we're coming out there with the Sea City Underground. Yeah.
I may not have a lead. I might have to grab you, Rodney.
I'll be more than happy to jump up there. I love to play,
Yeah.
but I don't really, I just improv. I mean, we do our songs and stuff, but I just love to give out music if I can help. I can. I mean, if I'm just playing the, cowbell, more cowbell or a triangle, I'd be happy. But
You have to be careful though, because I'm in love with your bass player.
oh,
It's
he's
a
married. Everybody's married. Yeah, we're all married.
no, I don't mean that kind of love.
But
No. There's agape and eros, and it's not eros. It's just friendship, love. I love
oh
it.
well, he's a
Nice guy.
good man.
Yeah.
Shaggy. That's what we call him.
Anyway,
That's Daryl.
heading
Yeah.
on to the Dolly Parton story.
So anyway, this was back. I can't remember. It was like either late '80s or early '90s. But Dolly came up and played the Paramount, and believe it or not, there was a death threat on Dolly. We were so she had to have some private security around her and stuff, and so I was running back at that time when I was working for the Paramount. I do backdoor security, the stage door security, and I do stagehand. I was double clutching it. And so anyway, we were watching out for her. And during the performance, I switched off, I would switch off with another guy, LC. I wonder if he's still alive, but he would run the back door. And I went running through, I was walking through the crowd, kind of making sure
Right.
nobody had any guns or
Right.
doing anything crazy, because I still don't understand who would ever want to hurt Dolly, because she was such a nice person. But anyway, so I'm in the crowd and I'm kind of looking around and watching people, and right then she starts going into this. And I remember it was back when Bert and Lonnie were together. Bert Reynolds and Lonnie Anderson were still married, because they were supposed to come visit it up at the Paramount. We were making special accommodations if they came, but they didn't come, unfortunately. But so Dolly dedicated this song. She goes, I'm going to dedicate this to Bert and Lonnie. And the song was Always,
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, as she kicks into the Always song, this little girl in this little black skirt, if I can say this, I get emotional because it was so beautiful. But she came up to the stage, and one of our security lifted her up and put her on stage. And she went over there as Dolly singing this song, and she hands Dolly a rose, and Dolly's singing, always love you. And it was so beautiful, because this was a moment that this was gonna, this how much inspiration, and how it was just beautiful. And anyway, I started tearing up. And I was thinking, God, I sure hate to have to bounce somebody at this time, because how in the hell am I going to have to try to look intimidating and, oh, we're sorry.
With tears in your eyes.
I don't think I would have been too thing. But Dolly was cool. She gave me a dozen roses. I told her the story. She laughed. And I got a little dozen roses that was left over, kind of thing that she gave me. But Dolly was a sweetheart. I tell you what you guys see on TV, that girl is exactly like that in real life. And, I wish I could have spent more time with her, but she is heart all the way through, love her very, very much. And actually that moment, it still kind of chokes me up, because it was beautiful. That, and there was another moment that kind of choked me up, and that was
Right.
with Natalie Cole and that Unforgettable tour. That kind of choked me up a little bit. But yeah, you guys, I got a little sensitive side to me. Don't let it get out.
That's a good
Probably
thing.
why I had to. That's probably why I had to get out of that nasty name. I had to try to take that stage name because I'm not that nasty. I'm kind of more of a naughty, but not a nasty. But yeah, Dolly was a sweetheart, and who else? Shania Twain. Watching her, I ran Spotlight for her and watched her just grab people out of the crowd, and she's another one that
Yeah.
just
I would love to
really,
see her. I never
yeah.
got to see her.
I was right above. I didn't get to talk to her or meet her, but I was just like feet above her running a Spotlight. And she was stopped the whole show, and she brought these kids up on stage, and said,
Aw.
"Hey, you guys, come on up." And
Oh,
this is exactly what artists was we are, because we're helping the crowd. We're making, it's
absolutely.
just such a positive, and we need that with all the politics, all the inflation, all the crazy stuff in
Yeah,
the world.
yeah,
We need that positive, you know,
I agree.
reinforcement,
Right.
not to
Absolutely.
get too political, because I'm not political, but I do believe it's not going to be Republicans or Democrats that'll bring this country together. I think it's going to be musicians. I think as
Yeah.
artists, we can, get out of all this crazy stuff, quit judging and hating, and just come together. What was that, John Lennon? I mean,
Yeah.
you think about all the prosecution that guy had to go through, but
Yeah.
he always talked about peace and love.
Yeah.
Not saying I'm a huge John Lennon fan, but you can't ignore how great the Beatles were. They did a great job, but I appreciate all arts out there, and I think that as artists, and we do feel a lot of the pain of the world. I mean, I do. I just speak it for myself, but I think that as artists, we're kind of empaths, and we do feel that pain, and we do. Maybe we feel that pain because it's a hard profession. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. It's a hard profession to be in, but relating and having that compassion, for your fellow person and fellow life forms out there, and be able
Absolutely.
to put that beautiful, just make the world just a little beautiful, whether you paint something or whether you write poetry and somebody can just read that poetry, maybe going through some tough times, and that poetry or that lyric, it just gives them that strength to pull through. To me, that's very powerful that you would
Yes.
have that ability to help people. And I think that's what
Mhm.
kind of puts the humane into humanity. Okay, I'm just rambling on.
Okay. Well,
You
you're
know,
talking.
I uh,
You're talking to a political science person, so I, I'm political, but I also heartily agree that if there's going to be a coming together of people, yes, I believe that music is the way. I really do.
well, if you're political science, I'll walk on the dark side right now, because I've been thinking about all these things, with the judgment, the
Yeah,
woke
yeah,
thing, and I was thinking about all these mass shootings and shit like
yeah.
that, and I was, excuse my language, but I'm thinking, what's the difference? What is happening? Because I know in school, when I was in school, we had rifle class, we had guns,
Yeah.
there's more guns back there, and yes, we fought, but what's the difference? And I started thinking, that most of the people that go off, usually it's like a lack of hope, I think. To me, I'm trying to relate. And I think a lot of it's a lack of hope, and I think anybody can be pushed over the edge if the circumstances are right. So then I go back and I'm thinking, well, what's the difference from what we had back then to now? And I started realizing that we hung out more, in my younger days. One of
Yes.
my earlobes is longer than the
Yeah.
other, from the neighbor lady dragging me back to my mom to get my ass beat, which
Yeah.
probably deserved. But we all in tune. So people go, well, what do you suggest? And I suggest this. I think that if we go old school, keep the internet. I'm not saying get rid of any of this stuff, because the internet's very, very
Yeah.
cool. It's very informational. But I say take time and go old school and go through your phone book and just call up all your friends and family. Check in on them time to time. Say, hey, what's up? How you doing? Is there anything I can do to help? And you never know. Maybe just the sound of your voice will be
Yes.
just enough to help them get over the impasse that they reach, because we all go through trials and tribulations. I know every single one of you guys out there has got, gone through a rough patch one or two times, but with a little, what's that? Be another Beatles song. I get by with a little help from my friends. Where is that?
Yes.
I like to get back to that. And I mean, to me, I try to push that. I mean, I got Republican friends, I got
Yeah.
Democrat friends, and they all have good hearts. I mean, they all have good
Yeah.
intentions. But, when you listen to them talking on the internet,
Yeah.
but they're not getting eye contact. It's like, whoa, they're pretty.
Yeah.
It's like, well, come on, you guys, come on, whoa, time out. No, we get, where's the love? Don't forget that you're friends, 30 years.
Now,
But
I'd like to add to that just a little bit. I have I belong to a volunteer band in Bothell. It's called the Bothell Volunteer Senior Band. And
it's
we
real
go
cool.
into our retirement 55 plus communities
Right?
and what used to be called nursing homes. I don't know what they call them today.
Retire.
And we sing to the people there. There's quite a few of us, there are like 13, and we all get our song or whatever, a couple songs.
That's awesome.
And you'd be amazed with people who have Alzheimer's or they've had some kind of brain disease, the kind of response that they give music. It is amazing. And when you talk about heal, that's where you can see it.
Well, get deep in you too. There's a thing, not to advertise other stuff, but if you look up on YouTube under frequencies and water, and how frequencies, they'll show like a hose. They'll put a hose over a speaker and hit it with 60 hertz and then see how it affects the water. You look it up on the internet, and then you are like, when you see plates, they'll have like a plate of steel and throw some sand on there and hit it with some hertz and watch how the different fractals are formed
Ah,
from the different frequencies. So bear with me, guys. No, I'm not on acid or drugs, but uh, you know, but you think if frequencies can affect water in that way, and totally, I mean, the water will go like it'll go in like spirals, it'll do stairs, it'll defy gravity when you hit it. But if we're made up with over 80% water, our
yes.
body, then the healing properties, which now in our modern days they're
Yes.
looking more on the sound and how that affects our body. But they've been doing it for thousands of years. The monks, with their low chanting, does that line up? Kind of help you line up your frequencies and your body, or how does that affect us? And to me, I know that music has that ability to change your mood, and it does have ability to make you remember, or capture a memory, or a love, or a special time in your life. It kind of puts a little bookmark, for all you younger generation, that bookmark, like you do on your computer. This is what songs kind of do for like memories, or smells, or stuff. I'm getting way too deep on you.
Absolutely. Uh,
Okay. Okay. People are
absolutely.
going, well, that Rodney Dean guy, he's like, "Ooh, Pluto."
Well, that brings that to go a
But
little
check
bit.
it out, though, you guys. Look on YouTube under
Absolutely. I
frequencies and
agree with
water,
this.
and then
Yes.
think about that, and then maybe working on the bells and stuff over your body, or take a tuning fork. I don't know, it kind of be crazy, but I don't know. It's just something that if I see it in water, and knowing that we're made up with that much water, and then plus you hear reports of how music affects plants, and how they've done experiments with plants.
Yes.
So there, and like I was saying earlier about going out with your instrument in the woods, that animals and things will come visit you.
Yes.
They might want to eat you, but they will like the music just before they, dive in. But I'm
Oh,
sorry for talking so
it's all
much.
right.
Yeah.
I've never had one try to eat me yet, but and that's probably in my future if I go out in the woods. Um,
Mhm.
the section of our program here is a little bit from you about what you were doing during COVID, since that was a really dreary downer time kind of time for musicians and everybody. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's kind of a little sore subject with me because for us, I worked when it first hit. I got sick before COVID got,
yeah,
and
me too.
and then when it hit, I was working helping bring this company up, and and I was one, even though everybody was staying home, I was the first workers out there to be working on the front line. But unfortunately, couldn't get vaccinated. And so, it totally affects me. So not only did my whole thing got affected, and I probably even should say this on the internet. And actually, I probably, now I'm going to be barred and leopard. But, yeah, it's tough because I've been around people who's had it now, and and I know how I've had some medical training, throughout my life, and I understand how it works, and I take my precautions, and I'm not an anti-vaxxer, I just think this should be a conversation you should have between you and your doctor, and not me by any means. I'm not part of that. And as far as politics, I definitely don't think your politician should have any influence on what medical treatments you should do because they're not qualified. Either you're studying law or you're studying medicine, type of thing. But, talk to your doctor. Your doctor should know more about your body. But it did affect me and affected the whole industry. Our whole industry shut down. And it still affects me today. There's some things that I can't do because, I can't get vaccinated, and I won't now at this point. I mean, it's ridiculous, for me to even risk that because I'm just not a good candidate for it. But that's just me, guys. Doesn't mean that I'm recommending you either way.
I'll
That's just
remember that next time I try to hug you.
no. I mean, for me, I
Teasing.
mean,
I'm
I
teasing
just
you.
it was tough. It was tough. So I feel sorry because I keep a positive attitude, but I can imagine there's other people. See, for me, I think about the other people are going through the same experiences, and I understand that a lot of people are concerned and things are happening. But as the truth slowly comes out, then it truth always will reveal itself. My grandma used to tell me that. She goes,
She was a wise
there's
woman.
always it might take a while, and I go, well, what
Okay.
about JFK, Grandma? What's going on there? No, it'll reveal itself in time. I'm still waiting, the grassy knoll and all that. But but Grandma, I know better not to argue with Grandma or my mom. I came from a very strong spirited women, so I learned
It
real quick
shows.
to
It
get on
shows.
their good side, not to get the girls mad, because us guys may be bigger in statues, but girls have this way of knowing how to get us in the end, Just
Yeah.
like my mom, she's 87 years old and she picks up a wooden spoon. I still cringe. I'm like, I mean, I think I can outrun her, but
Yeah, that's
she
hey,
will
Rodney.
eventually get me. I know her determination and persistence. It'll just be a matter of time.
Speaking of that wooden spoon, you were giving your insights into how you think the things are going in the schools and the kinds of
Oh,
kids that
schools.
we're producing. That wooden spoon and that hairbrush and fly swatter or whatever.
Well,
I think
another thing
that's
about
missing today.
there's another thing about the school system. I'm glad you brought that up because the other thing is, believe it or not, I've worked for Northwest Indian College, and I worked up at Tulalip School District up there, and I actually worked for CPS, did a little thing for CPS too as well, project with them, working with youth services.
Yes.
And I remember last time I was working with youth services, had to do one of these projects, and they told me I was working with youth services. I was going, well, I want all your troubled youth, and they go, why would you wish that upon yourself? And I got a theory, and my theory is that all troubled youth are artists, because we don't think inside the box. And then I also I remember when I was young, we used to be able to go to in Southern California. We used to be able to go to a park, and there would be a girl that unlock a closet full of bats and balls, and we'd organize little activities. And on those days, we didn't get into mischief. So in hindsight, the only time we really got into mischief is when we got bored.
Yes.
So You know, you got
Yes.
bored, and this might everybody should be able to relate to that. You know,
Yes.
over 30 or but yeah, we used to get bored. So I took these kids and worked with them, and actually we did a thing on a problem gambling awareness, a little PSA, problem gambling awareness, and the kids basically. I just gave Blake storyboards. The kids wrote the script, they directed, they did the acting, they did basically everything. And all I did is watered them a little bit. And anyway, Talalip threw at the casino up there. They threw a big problem gambling awareness convention,
Wow.
and all these dignitaries from all over the nation came, and they played the film for the kids, and they got a standing ovation, and
Mm.
it was beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful moment, and I really think that I'm on something like that, but I just fall in love with kids too much. I feel their pain, I would work with them more, but it's tough, my hat's off to all you teachers, but I mean, the other rewarding thing is seeing the introverts, the ones that were kind of introverts, come out of their shells and
Mhm.
actually uh be the forerunners of the class, the group.
Right.
Uh, and that was really rewarding. And, and I just can't wait till like in 30 years they show up and go, it's because of you I got this.
Yeah.
Because I don't even know what seeds I planted, but it's a beautiful thing. And, and I know kids, especially through teenage years, we're all questioning our existence, especially through the teenage. And that's probably why they know everything. You got that whole hyper
Yeah.
teenager because they know everything, and you're going, oh yeah, right. Uh, but I think because we're questioning our existence, so it's a tough time, and we got to find our little place. We're trying to find our little niche. But I do believe we're all born with gifts. I
Yeah.
don't think anyone in this planet or in this universe hasn't been born without a gift or a talent of some sort,
Yeah.
and it usually comes to find your gift. I mean, some people spend their whole life not finding it, but I think to find it is just look in your heart. What do you love to do? What are you passionate? Or like Dolly Parton says,
Yeah.
find what you love or find how to make money doing what you love, and you don't have
I
to
haven't
work.
figured out the money part yet, but I'm still doing what I love.
You don't make money on it. You don't get out there. And,
Yeah.
oh,
No,
well, you do a good
I'm
job.
still looking for a lead. I need a lead. I'm not a lead type picker. I
Oh,
just don't. I didn't start that way, and it just doesn't work. So I'm running out of time as far as
yeah,
learning.
we all. Tomorrow definitely isn't promised to any of us. I hear that. You
So
know.
we do have a comment from Electric Dave. He says, "Yeah, my mom just used the broom, broke it on me one time, and my dad was pissed at me, and never forgot the look on her face when it broke. I must have said something bad. Usually deserved it." Yeah,
Yeah.
that element.
But we
I don't agree with child abuse, whatever, but
No, no, but
but
that
there,
negative. See, now I had both ways. Believe it or not, I was abused. I probably shouldn't be saying this on the internet, but I had a stepdad that would beat us up with a 2x4, and not
oh
on
my
the ass. He
God,
would take,
no,
yeah, no, it
not
was pretty serious. But I didn't go out and kill a bunch of people, like
exactly.
but no, but then my biological dad, which just passed recently, and I love him dearly, but my biological dad,
Sorry
he
about
would
that.
just tell us, what would happen if we did stuff. He
Yeah.
would just, he
Oh,
was
look.
quite different. No, he would go, hey, son, if you stick your finger in that light socket, you're going to get shocked. It, about the fifth time of getting shocked, you kind of go, maybe dad's onto something. So you start listening to dad because that negative just like sticking your finger in the, I mean, everybody's got to touch that fire and go, oh, let me see a pretty flame. And then we learned very quickly that that's not such a great idea, because there's pain involved. And there's a reason why we have pain in these receptors in our body to let us know that's not good. And so my dad, he would just have to raise his voice, and we were scared because
Yeah.
we all had, I had my real mom and dad separated when I was young, and my dad married a little later, so I have a bunch of family and stepbrothers and stepsisters, which
Yeah.
are very, very loving, and and it was cool. But we were very loving family. So when my dad got mad, he would just go, "Ah, ah," and then we would all just, So really, and then it would be gone just like that, And we were all scared, but it was not so much scared. It was almost like you felt bad about disappointing dad. You're going, oh
Yeah,
my God, I just
exactly.
disappointed him. And
Yes.
a little bit different than my stepdad. My stepdad, you're just going, let me survive this, and I hated that guy. But
Yeah.
I will say that he called me when I was like 40. We reconnected. Because I left
Nice.
home at an early age, and reconnected. He called me, and of course I try not to hold grudges because no one knows that you hold a grudge. They don't know. They don't know what you're feeling. They could care less. And when you carry grudges, you're only burdening yourself with it. Doesn't mean you shouldn't forget. It just means
Right. Exactly.
forgiving is a powerful thing. But
So,
he called and he, apologized for all his bad ways. He got religion. He got apostolic Pentecostal. Matter of fact, he got
oh
me.
Lord,
Yeah, I would go, whoa, that's pretty extreme. And he had me go to church. My nose is itchy. No, I'm not doing cocaine or anything.
means
But
you're going to kiss a fool.
no, I
That's
think I
a,
just need to. I think since I've been getting older, I can't tell you guys, but I'm growing hair in my ears and my nose. I'm losing it on top of my head, but it's coming out my ears and nose. I'm what kind of freaking joke is this guy? Lord, I didn't mean to do the joke or whatever I did or something that make somebody mad or my past life. But yeah, what a
hey,
cool
Rodney, we need to go into leaving this. I mean, very interesting conversation, and there's never enough time in an hour. People say, well, what are you going to do for an hour? Well, there's never enough time.
Oh, I gave you guys a lot of information. Now people are going to forgive me.
Hold
They're
it
going to think I'm
there.
a leper, and maybe just edit out that whole, politic Corona thing part. But
Oh,
I will say that this virus, it's going to be around for a while, and we just have to be mindful,
vigilant.
of it, and just try to do with health. But there's so much other things out there too. I mean, as far as food, processed foods, we got to be careful with that. Try to eat natural. But I think too, start growing your own food. Go back old school. Start canning. Some of my friends, since the inflation, and gas prices, people are starting to can more and doing like the old. So maybe we can all get together,
Yeah,
snap beans
I
together.
did all that many, many years. Now I'm not doing
Like, you
it.
remember how we had the circles? I remember we do the corn. My mom
Oh,
would can, and
yes. Yeah.
we'd all come out
Blueberries,
as a
and
family,
cherries, vegetables. Yeah, I remember those days.
and we'd just
The
be a big
bake.
party.
Yeah.
And then everybody get fed, and then all the canning, all the women would split up the little jars with each other, but it'd be a
Oh,
big
free.
canning. But we need more of the community. I think if you ask me what could solve the world problems, I think if we start hanging out more,
Yeah.
you know, not dogging on the internet, but start hanging out physically where we can, get eye contact, hear our emotions, in our voice, and share
And
our
bring
heart.
an instrument. Bring an
Bring
instrument so
an
we can
instrument or
jam.
just bang on a bottle or a rock. It
There
doesn't
you
matter.
go.
Just bring your soul. Because I think the energy, everything's about energy. So as long as you're bringing your heart, that's all you need. And I think that, we could get by with a little help from our friends, and
You got it.
let's
So
start putting out more love,
what do you have in the future, Rodney? What are you promoting? Where are you at with your music and
Well,
what's
right now we're going to be doing that Corona Palooza. I think
yeah,
what date are we playing on that one? I think it was
Dave?
the 27th or what? Dave,
It's
are
the
you
end
still
of the
there?
month sometime, I believe.
And then
Dave, if you're still here, we need a date.
yeah, I think it's the 27th. And then the second, I'm doing a solo thing, acoustic up at the EV Island Freedom Fest.
Oh yeah, I've been there. I did that one.
Going up there and doing that for a tribute to a very good friend of mine. Her name was Linda, and she used to be my masseuse. She used to come out, and she, I used to love giving massages. I said, no, not that kind of massage. Not the
Okay,
happy ending. Get your minds out
gotta
of the
be
gutter.
clarified.
But no, she did the stones though. She put rocks. I had the hot rocks, and she was just like a 95-pound girl, but she had these elbows. she was like, she had these like killer elbows, but they just got in there. But but she was also known as the tie dye lady, and she always tried to get me to
Okay.
play.
Cool.
Yeah, she did tie dye. She was a great artist. I remember too, one of my funniest pictures of her is she's dressed up as a big pea, you know, and she's got this suit on, this big pea suit, and she's in a parade saying, "Oh, we need world peas" or something like that. And this so cute, but she was awesome, and she always tried to get me to play that festival. But we were always, I think that was when I was doing Sea City Dolls, and we were always playing somewhere else, and but she passed, and so I'm doing a little song, a little tribute to her, just to say yes, I made it there, and I'll always think of the people you meet through your life. I mean, helps us shape to who we are today, and good, bad, or whatever. I mean, it all helps influence to who we are today, and I'm grateful for all the people in my life, and I'm grateful for all you guys out there that probably had to listen to this
I
bullshit,
agree.
and try not to kick me in the shin too much for not following the herd so much, but I got to make my own path, and so does everybody else too. Find your destiny, follow your heart, and try not to have too much anger. Life's too short. Tomorrow's not promised to any of us. But
Yeah,
if
anger,
you need help, call me.
anger can motivate people to change and do really good things. I mean, anger is not bad. It's what you do with it. That,
True.
yeah. So,
True, very true. I mean, if you use, and I don't know if it's anger so much at that point, you might be a little frustrated and, but passionate and driven, the change. My dad told me too, a good advice. Anytime you guys run into a rough patch, and I remember when I got stuck on things, and I'd call my dad and I was like, "Dad, yeah, I'm kind of stuck in a rut." And he always goes, "Son, just change something in your life." I mean, he listened to the old bullshit, but he would never comment on anything that was going on. He just go, just change something, just one thing. Whether how you get up in the morning, and instead of doing this, do this first, or try something different. Walk
absolutely.
a different way to work, or drive a different way to work. Something just simple like that, and it'll might be just something to kind of kick you out of that rut, to get you out of that little rough patch and back into,
I
uh,
agree.
because
Yes.
it can't rain all the time. You know,
Well,
it,
in this state, it can.
well, it can't be sunny all the time either. So I
That's
mean,
true. You
you
can't
know,
appreciate the sun if you haven't seen the rain, right?
that's very, very true. And I like, actually, personally, I like the rain. I like the sun. I like all the weather.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's what I love about the Northwest. The Northwest. It's a beautiful, especially Seattle, Puget Sound. And when I first came up here, and I think 1986, somewhere around in there. I got a lot of warm welcome, and there are a lot of good people, and I
A
have
lot
hope,
of
and I
musicians too.
believe, and I think we do live, not to be biased. And if any of you guys live in other states, are kind of looking at
Hey,
this,
come on
I love
over.
you too. Your states are great too, no, I love it here, and
Okay. I
before I
have
give
one
up,
last question for you, Rodney.
okay.
We got 8 minutes.
Oh, 8 minutes. Okay.
Yeah. I want to know what you see as a 5-year plan, what you see in your future. And I'd also like your advice to people who are watching who may be starting out as singers, songwriters, musicians locally. Some of the lessons that you might have learned, or you have learned, not might.
See, well, follow your heart is always it. You know, the other thing is follow your heart, but you got to realize we're our own worst critics. Nobody can criticize you
Yeah.
worse than yourself.
Yeah.
So we're good at beating ourselves up because
Yes.
we know where our buttons are. So try not to be too hard on yourself. Let it out there. But if you're singing from your heart, I've listened to people that can't sing, like, oh, I'm going to get in trouble for this, but like Bob Dylan, perfect example. He can't sing worth a shit, but he sings by his heart. So
Yeah.
some of his songs, that's why he gets the track. So don't mind if you're a little bit flat, or David Lee Roth, another one. He can't sing worth. Sorry, David. Thanks for that bottle of Jack he gave me, but you do sing flat too, and me too. I'm one too. I'll be the first one to say I can't sing worth a shit. I don't know how I became the singer all the time, but you know, uh, but if you put your heart in there, put your heart, sing from your heart, and sing what's going on. Don't uh, try to uh, fixate on what other people might like. If you sing from your heart and sing some of your life experiences, I guarantee that somebody out there can relate to it, and they'll take it and change it. But they'll take ownership of it. But if you're trying to imagine, it might not come out as genuine. If you're trying to think, I'm going to write a song about a tragic thing here. But if you sing about your life experiences, I mean, just simple
And
things.
lose.
I mean, the Pretenders, they had watching the clothes go around. It's like, okay, can you think of anything? But no, it's still pretty good. Or, are we saying give peace a chance? I mean, that song, I don't even know what he's saying during the verses. I'm going, what the, taxes, what, and then all of a sudden, oh, we say, everybody's like lifting up their light. But I'll give a nickel to anybody that can tell me what he's singing, just right off the cuff.
All right, there's your challenge out there.
One nickel, But that's what I'm saying. So if you guys put your heart out there, that's the good thing about. That's why I don't think it's going to be Republicans or Democrats, political stuff. It brings our world together. I think it's artists, and because we have that capability to unite. And I think that all we're saying is give peace a chance. That song, just that little hook, did influence. I mean, people can argue and tell me no, but I think it did influence the world at that time. It touched a lot of corners. It might not have got everybody in Zambia native or down in South America and the Amazon jungles. Maybe they didn't get it. But,
Yeah.
it did unite a lot of people. And so all us out there artists, just try to put your love into your music. Try to put your passion, whatever you're trying to do, just believe in yourself, and then other people will believe in you too as well. And don't give up. You might not be winning at the time, but until you give up, until you say fuck, can I say fuck? But anyway, until you say
can. On my
show,
you say, I didn't believe you.
It's over, I quit. You haven't completely lost. You might not be winning at the time, but you haven't completely lost. So believe in yourself. And then the other thing is, go out to that woods. I highly recommend if you play guitar, bass, or just any string instrument, cellos or violins, go out to the woods and try to listen to and if you can't go out to the woods, the city's got a rhythm to it too. Yes. It's just got a lot of, you got to kind of listen closely because there's a lot of chaos that goes along around that rhythm. There's a rhythm, but there's a little chaos, but everything's there,
And touch a tree. Touch a tree.
Oh, especially in the Northwest, cedar trees. Cedar trees is a good one to touch because in Native culture, I don't know if I should share this, but in Native culture, the roots go down the deepest and the farthest. And in some beliefs, in some villages, it's belief that a cedar tree is kind of like a therapist on the outside. So you can actually go, get a lot of grounding from a cedar tree, and it's the one tree that bugs don't eat, and it's got other healing properties that help you out. But I'm getting deep on you guys again.
Yeah, when I touch a tree, I feel energy. I feel life force.
Everything's energy, really. I mean, if it would get weird, I mean, when you get down to the atom, you got electrons and neutrons bouncing around. Nothing's even solid. It's all just bouncing around in there. But it's all energy. Everything. And Einstein talked about, Tesla talked about it. It's all energy. We're energies,
Right.
And in what we project will come back, to us, Oh, do we got another comment?
Yeah, Michael. We had Donald Malador. He's now in North Carolina, I believe.
And Donald! Woo! Yeah, I love Donald.
Freedom. He said Freedom Fest, and he tuned in.
Yeah, that is awesome. But you guys got to come out on the 27th to the Corona Palooza. Yes. That's going to be fun.
We'll both be there. We're both going to be there.
It'll be fun. Yeah, we'll go out there and do that. And then but Corona Palooza is the big one. The EB Island Fest, you come out and show up, and I'm only doing like one song, maybe two. I don't know. It's going to be a pretty choked up time. I don't even know if I can pull it off. So you probably not want to do that. I'm just doing it for my friend that's on the other side. I'm kind of weird that way. I hope to believe. I mean, I don't know, really what's going on, but I just try to, I don't want to mess up the spirits. And I like to think that the people past, the one thing I hate about getting old is, saying goodbye. But I like to believe that, when we think of our loved ones that, passed on, that, somehow they get a special coin in heaven, we think of the love, or they get to hear like a little doorbell, because
Well, I'm convinced there's this great big band in the sky, because when I was working in clubs and whatever, and with my band, they kept passing. And it's like, wait a minute, everybody who joined my band seemed to be leaving it, but not
that
in.
would be awesome. We were all just going. What was
So we
that
just
one?
figure the Lord wants these people for his band, and he just grabs them when he needs them.
Well, you remember that '70s commercial? Teach the world to sing.
Yes,
Teach
yes,
the world to sing. Perfect harmony.
you got it.
That was so inspiring. The '70s did have some good music, very inspiring. But I just thank you guys for, just allowing me to do music. I mean, I feel blessed that I've got to do it for this long. I hope that I can still do it for a little longer, and make money at it. That, and to make money at it, all you do is get out there and get your fans. Once you're doing the heart, the people will start seeing, once you start getting the following, you can ask for money, because that's the whole thing.
Thank you. I hope so soon.
Yeah, play everywhere, play as much as you can, and
Yeah,
do what you can and
perfect.
stay safe, lots of.
Okay, well, I do want to thank you so much for coming here, and Rodney, and sharing your story with us, and some of your thoughts on these deep subjects.
I know I
And
went way deep.
it went so fast. I could have dealt with a whole lot more, but the hour is over, and it's time to go. But I will see you on the 27th, and thanks for putting that in there, Dave. And Michael McMath, please take note of the date. It's called the Chronopalooza. Is that how you,
Corona-palooza, yeah, something like that.
on
I
the
don't know.
27th? So everybody, you do have
I just love Dave, though. Dave did a great job over at Sandra
yes,
Lopez's house.
he
And
did.
Sandra, she rocks. Is she
It
going to be
was
playing there?
amazing.
They're
Yes.
playing there too, as well. I think maybe. I don't know. I have to look at the poster again. No one tells me anything. I just show up and be happy.
Go
Just
to
happy to
Mature
play.
Musicians Group. Go to Mature Musicians Group. We put a lot in there.
What's the mature? Oh yeah, I belong to that group. I belong to the
That's right.
mature.
You do. It's what you're on right now.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, I don't
So
know if I don't know if the name's appropriate or if I fit, because I don't know if I really matured. But
your music is matured. I don't
uh,
know about the person, but I know the music, and I like it. So
and the
it's
other thing is I think everybody's, I see the inner child in everybody, and I think we should probably, because that never goes away. Your inner child never goes away, and
it does.
hopefully don't kill it off when you're playing music, and just have fun. Life is short.
Absolutely.
Enjoy life. But thank you
Absolutely.
ever so much, Joy. I had a great time. You
Great.
know,
Loved
was the
having you, Rodney. And I will
first
see
time
you
I did
soon.
an interview on this app. What is it? Interview.
It's called
First time I did it.
StreamYard.
Yeah.
StreamYard.
So I got to
Yeah.
learn something new today. Whee!
Yeah. And you didn't, and you got in right away. So I'm glad.
Thank you guys ever so
Bye.
much. And is there anything else I need to do, or
No,
you know?
what'll happen is this is now live on Mature Musicians Group, so you can always go to it and look at it afterwards. It'll also go on my Facebook page, and while we were doing this, I recorded it in YouTube. So I will send you a link. You can use that for whatever you want, but there will be interview will be on YouTube as well.
Oh, nice. And anyway, and look out for Sea City Underground. That's the name of the new project I'm working
Oh
on.
yeah, yeah.
And
Maybe
we are
we'll
looking
be
for a
back.
couple backup singers, though. So if anybody out there wants to be a backup singer, come out and sing some pipes, or it's kind of cool. I like doing Broadway because I used to have another band called Lesbian Muff Divers back in the day.
Yeah.
It was
Go with
all
it.
girl band. We made Bill this guy show, Entertainment Tonight, Northwest Live, Canada's Much Music, and even got our music in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We
Oh
we
my
weren't
gosh.
inducted, but they played us on the radio uh, as you went through the museum. But
That's cool.
yeah. So this was Sea City Underground. Come on out, enjoy the Corona Palooza. this month, the 27th. Actually, I think it's like a 3-day event. So it's like 26th, 27th, and 28th or something like that. Where's Dave? Is he still in there? Dave!
He's still there.
How many days is that event? 3 days, isn't it? Can you camp out and cats living with dogs, total hysteria, you know?
Cats living with dogs.
Total craziness.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank
Come
you,
on,
Joy.
Dave.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I'm hoping he's going to put it on here, but look at the comments afterwards after we go off the air, and Dave will probably put it back on here, even though that 26th through 27th, free food at camping and all. So do come.
Free food and camping. How can you miss that? Gee. Cool.
All right,
Dave's going to be cooking himself. Thanks, Dave. Thanks, everybody who watched the thing, and thank you, Joy.
Right. You're welcome. Thank you, Rodney. Bye-bye. Well, that's the end of our program. The reason that you're seeing my head cut off in this picture is I used for the first time a green screen with a preset background. It was kind of interesting. I love the house and I love the piano. But next week, next Monday at 2:00, we have a young man named Josh Collins. He is currently in the U.S. Navy, and he is a country singer. I hope you don't miss that one. He's really good, and he's a great guy. I do want to hope you all join to thank him for his service and to listen to his story. So until next Monday, goodbye. I'm signing off.